Heartwarming moment, a wheelchair-bound CEO's life-changing wedding encounter with a single dad. Emily Turner, a powerful engine of innovation, used to conquer boardrooms and inspire teams. But now, on this sunlit Saturday, she navigates a world of laughter and clinking glasses under blooming cherry blossoms from her wheelchair, a reminder of the devastating accident that changed everything. She forces a smile as she wheels past a glittering crowd celebrating Tim's marriage, one of her most dedicated employees. But behind her confident facade, waves of loneliness crash against her heart. Surrounded by elegant dresses and laughter echoing, Emily feels a strange tug in her chest. Each joyful shout feels like another reminder of the barriers her wheelchair erected. She catches snippets of conversations, friends discussing the latest tech advancements while she secretly yearns for something she can't quite name. It aches, this sense of isolation, but she pushes forward, determined to look the part of the dynamic CEO they all expect her to be. Just then, a vibrant burst of laughter catches her ear. She turns and meets Jake's eyes, a humble single dad with a genuine smile and a warmth that pulls her in. He's juggling 2 plates of food while trying to rein in his 6-year-old daughter, Mia, who darts in and out of the crowd. Emily can't help but smile. Their eyes lock, a moment of understanding passed between them, both shaped by struggles, yet stubbornly uplifting. As they bond over stories of hardship, Emily's heart warms. Jake opens up about balancing his job at a local car mechanic shop with raising Mia in a neighborhood where dreams feel too far away. He shares how their family counts on the community for support, and as she listens, she feels a connection she hadn't experienced in years. Just when their laughter starts to blend, Emily notices the glances directed at Jake from her affluent friends, raised eyebrows and whispered judgments. Internally, she feels that painful sting of discrimination again, this time aimed at someone she's come to genuinely care about. "He's just a mechanic," one whispers knowingly, casting a shadow over the bond they'd begun to build. Painful memories rise and Emily's heart races, emotions swirling. Can she defy the societal norms they both navigate? She instinctively starts to retreat, unsure of how to reconcile her status with what she feels for Jake. Before she can dismiss her emotions entirely, a flyer for a local initiative catches her eye. They're seeking volunteers to help underprivileged families in need. This unexpected call to action shakes her core, a reminder that true worth isn't defined by societal status. Every part of her urges to reach out to Jake, to embrace his spirit, not flee from it. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. So she wheels back toward Jake, ready to confront her fears. As they navigate through their intertwined challenges, they find solace in their shared resilience. Still, Emily understands that the community's mixed responses loom large. Some embrace this union, others seethe against it, the air thick with whispers. Emily takes a deep breath, gathering courage as she wheels to the front of the crowd, Jake's eyes on her, expectant. Her voice shakes as she prepares to speak, the weight of her decision palpable. Will she promote this bond, this emerging friendship, or allow the judgmental whispers to snuff out their connection? The room holds its breath, uncertainty crackling in the air, and just as she opens her mouth to speak, a disruptive voice cuts through, shattering the moment, plunging them both into the unknown of what comes next. "Emily, come over here." It was Vanessa, a friend from her past, her voice slicing through the tension like a knife. The crowd turned toward Emily, expectant but uncertain. "We need your thoughts on a new tech initiative." Emily's heart twisted. She had been so close to saying something meaningful to Jake, but now that moment felt like it was slipping away. She glanced over at him, catching the disappointment in his eyes. It stung. With a forced smile, she pivoted toward Vanessa, realizing how quickly situations could shift. "Sure, I'll be right there," she called back, but the excitement in her voice felt hollow. Emily maneuvered her wheelchair away, leaving Jake behind, and as she navigated among the throng of suits and cocktail dresses, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was abandoning him. As the conversation picked up, Emily tried to focus on tech talk, but her mind kept drifting back to Jake and Mia. Jake, whose laughter echoed with authenticity. Mia, with her sparkling little eyes that seemed to shine even brighter than the champagne flutes. Every comment from her colleagues felt distant, irrelevant, even though she wore the mask of the attentive CEO. An hour passed, but all Emily could think about was Jake. The warm glow of connection she had begun to feel was fading in the bright light of the crowd. She watched him from across the room, trying to engage with Mia, who was running around, carefree and filled with joy. That innocent laughter rang in stark contrast to the serious discussions surrounding her. "I'll be back," she finally said to Vanessa, breaking away from the corporate chatter. She made her way through the crowd, determined not to let the judgmental whispers win. As she reached Jake, he was on his knees, helping Mia tie her shoelaces, his hands gentle and patient. The sight melted something inside Emily. She caught herself smiling again, enjoying this moment of grace and simplicity in the chaos. "Hey," she said softly, her voice carrying warmth now. Jake looked up, his face brightening instantly. "Hey. I thought you got lost in the corporate abyss," he joked, his smile infectious. "Not yet. Just needed a break." Emily hesitated, those words dancing in her mind. "I actually saw a flyer for a volunteer initiative. It's focused on helping families in our community." She watched his expression change, curiosity flickering in his eyes. "That sounds great. I mean, it's tough sometimes with Mia, and it would be nice to help others," he replied, enthusiasm creeping into his voice. Emily felt a rush of hope. If they could create something meaningful together, a friendship that defied the whispers, maybe they could stand against societal judgment as a team. "Maybe we could do it together," Emily suggested, her heart pounding as she met his gaze. Jake's eyes sparkled at the idea, but reality swiftly clouded his face. "I don't want to drag you down. You have a life, a bigger one than I could ever imagine," he said, his voice almost a whisper. Invisible chains tugged at Emily's heart. "You're not dragging anyone down. You matter. Your story matters. And I think together, we could make a real difference." She took a breath, sensing a shift in the air, like something monumental was about to unfold. Mia, impatiently bouncing on her toes, tugged at Jake, eager for his attention. "See on, Daddy." As they both turned back to Mia, laughter bubbled up, intertwining their hope as a family. But something nagged at Emily's heart, a flicker of unease. Would they actually be able to overcome the pettiness of their worlds? Just then, another voice rang out from the crowd, and a familiar face approached. "There you are, Jake. What are you doing with her? You wouldn't want people to think." The words cut through the moment like a dagger. Shock rippled between Emily and Jake, leaving both of them reeling in uncertainty. Emily could feel her defenses rising, and adrenaline pulsed through her veins. Could she defend what was starting to bloom between them before it was snuffed out completely? The tension surged around them like static electricity, and Emily knew she had a choice to make. Would she let fear dictate her next move, or would she stand boldly in the face of judgment? The moment hung heavy, waiting for a decision that could change everything. Emily's pulse thudded in her ears as she turned to face the newcomer, who stood there with a smirk, crossing his arms like he'd just summoned a storm. The atmosphere sparked, charged with tension, and she could feel the eyes of the crowd press against her. "Jenna," Jake said, his voice strained. "This isn't what it looks like." "Oh?" Jenna raised an eyebrow, leaning in slightly, her tone dripping with condescension. "So you're just out here playing dad with her?" Emily clenched her fists, the tips of her fingers pressing into the soft fabric of her wheelchair. She didn't want to engage in this petty spat, yet the anger rising within her felt like a fire needing to be stoked. Actually, she began, her voice steady, it is what it looks like. We're discussing plans to help families. Something you should consider if you ever want to step beyond snide remarks. Jake's eyes widened in surprise. She could see the flicker of admiration crossing his face, and it fueled her confidence. Jenna, however, didn't let it faze her. Oh, please. Like you could actually make a difference, she shot back, her laugh harsh. You're just playing at community service while here's Jake, a real father trying to make ends meet. What makes you think you belong at all? The words dug deep, twisting a knife in Emily's gut, but she refused to back down. What makes me think? The same thing that makes Jake deserving of a community, of real connections, regardless of who he is stuck with. Perhaps you should realize that people can choose their worth instead of letting others dictate it. With every word, Emily felt the truth of her heart spilling out. It was raw but beautiful, laying bare the emotions she fought to keep behind a polished exterior. Jake's gaze flickered between her and Jenna, the conflict clear on his face. Jenna, stop, he said, his voice firm. Emily is as much a part of this community as anyone here. You don't know her or what she is capable of. Jenna huffed, crossing her arms. This is just embarrassing, she said, rolling her eyes. But fine, enjoy your little fantasy, she added, turning on her heel and storming away, leaving a cacophony of whispers in her wake. Emily shivered slightly, the tension evaporating as soon as Jenna was gone. The lingering weight of her words, shrouded in doubt, rushed in replace of the high-pressure moment. Wow, Jake murmured, looking at Emily with a mixture of awe and concern. That was impressive. She shrugged, the adrenaline still coursing through her. I just couldn't let her belittle you like that. You deserve better. The warmth in his gaze deepened, and for a brief moment, they both forgot the world outside them. It was as if they were wrapped in a cocoon built by shared understanding and respect. Emily felt something shift in the air between them, and her heart ached with possibility. Thank you, Jake said quietly. You have no idea how much that meant to me. She couldn't help but smile back, feeling brave for the first time in a long while. Let us do this initiative together, Emily said, feeling like this was more than just a project, it was a stepping stone. I can help organize it, but I want your voice there too. You matter, Jake, your story matters. He nodded slowly, something shifting in his demeanor. But before they could say more, Mia bounded back, her laughter ringing out like chimes. Daddy, can we go play now? Jake's face broke into a smile, lifting his daughter into the air for a moment. And there it was, pure joy illuminating the space. But as Emily watched them, a nagging thought lingered. What would happen when others in their lives saw the bond forming? Would they, too, throw judgment? As Mia held out her hand, grabbing for Jake to join her in endless playfulness, a sense of hope blossomed within Emily. But fear, a familiar companion, also whispered to her, urging caution. Could their connection withstand the scrutiny of the world around them? Emily bit her lip, waiting for Jake's next move, wondering if she was truly ready to dive deeper into this relationship or if she would let fear hold her back yet again. The unresolved tension of her decision lingered, heavy and hopeful, as she took a breath. What was she willing to risk to hold on to this rare spark? Emily watched as Jake tossed Mia into the air, her laughter filling the neighborhood with a contagious joy. Watching their bond, her heart swelled with warmth, but deep within her, trepidation festered. Could they truly find a way forward together, this budding friendship blossoming despite the judgments lurking in the shadows? Come on, Daddy. Let us go swing. Mia shouted, her excitement echoing like music in the air. She tugged at Jake's hand with all the strength her tiny frame could muster, her eyes sparkling with childlike wonder. Jake chuckled, lowering himself to her level. Okay. Just give me a second. He turned back to Emily, a soft smile spreading across his face. You sure you're okay here for a moment? I can push you along. Emily smiled, feeling a flutter of hope at his concern. No, really, go play with her. I'll be right here. As Jake joined Mia, the two of them bounded toward the swings. The sight of her and Jake laughing, immersed in the purity of that moment, pulled at the strings of Emily's heart. She admired how he didn't just play the role of a father, he lived it, with every ounce of his being, and now he was bringing Mia joy in ways she could see being mirrored in her own face, but, with every peal of laughter, electric doubts thrummed in her mind. What about Jenna? What did the others know about Jake's story? Would they understand the beauty of his connection with her, or would they only see what they wanted to see? As she shifted slightly in her wheelchair, glancing toward the playground's wooden structures, she saw a few parents nearby. Their eyes were drawn to Jake and Mia, but she could sense they were also watching her, as if assessing the situation. She swallowed hard, trying to shake off the impending judgment. Moments later, she spotted Jenna lingering at the edge of the play area, arms crossed once more. Emily's chest tightened. It felt much like a wolf standing guard over a sheep. Jenna's eyes flickered between Jake and Emily, brewing another storm. Look at them, Jenna quipped, an edge to her voice that sliced the air. Playing house like a happy family. It's almost cute if you can ignore the fact that reality is a lot messier. Jake caught the tail end of Jenna's remark and, with a frown, turned towards her. You should really reconsider what you say, Jenna. Emily felt the heat rise to her face. You don't get it, do you? It's not a game. She interjected, her voice stronger than she expected. Jake deserves happiness, and so does Mia. Jenna stepped closer, a predatory gleam in her eye. And if that happiness comes at a price? What will you do when you find out that he's not the father you imagined? Before Emily could conjure a response, Mia returned, her small hands clasped excitedly. Mommy! Look what Daddy can do. He can swing so high. Jake lifted Mia effortlessly, his laughter ringing clearer than the taunts around him. Emily felt a rush of warmth swelling in her chest, drowning out Snyder's hurtful implications. She couldn't let Jenna's words shatter this moment, this beautiful connection. See, Jenna? Emily said, her gaze firm, there's nothing messy about love. It's what we create together that counts. And I believe in this. For a moment, Jenna looked unsure, the sting of Emily's words hanging in the air. Then, with a scoff, she turned on her heel and stormed away, leaving Emily and Jake standing in the glow of the sun filtering through the trees. As Mia's infectious laughter filled the playground, Emily felt the weight of her fears begin to shift. Could she really embrace this relationship, this possibility? Just as hope began to blanket her anxiety, a small voice interrupted her thoughts. Emily, you want to try? Jake asked, glancing back with warm, inviting eyes. The question hung in the air, and she struggled with the sudden surge of vulnerability threatening to overshadow her confident facade. Would she risk it all? Would she dare to believe in this fiery connection, even amidst the uncertainties? A small thrill shot through her, intertwining with trepidation. What awaited her at the top of this emotional swing? Would she rise up and embrace it, or let go as fear took hold? Okay, she replied slowly, a smile creeping across her face. I'm ready to try. As Jake approached her, his expression filled with warmth, Emily realized that this was just the beginning. But with every step they took together, could they solidify a future against the odds? And somewhere deep inside, a question lingered, was this leap of faith worth the fall? Jake approached Emily with a gentle smile, extending his hand toward her as he knelt beside her wheelchair. All right, let us see how we can make this work. His voice was calm, soothing, like a balm over her racing heart. Emily felt the warmth of his touch as he gripped the handles of her chair, preparing to push her closer to the swings where Mia was soaring. The moment felt monumental. With every push, she could feel herself inching closer to something wonderful, something she had almost forgotten how to dream about. As they glided closer, Emily felt the breeze on her face, carrying the laughter of Mia, who was now soaring higher than before, her tiny legs kicking in delight. "Look, Mommy! I can touch the sky!" Mia squealed, her joy palpable. Emily chuckled, finding it hard to stay in the shadows of insecurity. "You're a little bird, Mia," she called back, the stress of Jenna's words fading into the background. Pushing through those mixed emotions, Emily tried to focus on this moment with Jake. Their shoulders brushed, and there was an electric connection that sent a pulse of warmth through her. Could this be what genuine companionship felt like? Just then, Jake wheeled Emily right by the swings, letting her feel the energy of the playground fully. "What do you think?" he asked, a spark in his eyes that made her heart flutter. "I think it's beautiful," she said, her voice steady, pushing back the remnants of doubt. "And I want to be part of it." With a nod of encouragement, Jake maneuvered the wheelchair closer to the swings, ensuring that Emily had the best view. The laughter of children filled the air, wrapping around them like a warm embrace, and for the first time that day, Emily felt a true sense of belonging. Mia jumped off the swing, running toward them, panting but filled with energy. "Mommy, you should try. Daddy can help you just like he helped me." It was innocent enthusiasm, and it ignited something deep within Emily. "You think I can do that?" she asked, a hint of disbelief in her voice. "Of course, you can," Jake chimed in. "We can do it together. Just like this." He took her hand and squeezed gently, the sincerity in his eyes made it harder for Emily to deny herself. Could she truly take this leap? She saw Mia watching, her eyes full of hope, encouraging her silently, and she felt a sudden swell of determination. "Okay, let us do it," Emily said, more to herself than to them. Jake beamed as he helped reposition her in the chair, ensuring she was comfortable. He took her hands in his, and the world around them seemed to fade away. "Just relax. I'll be right here." As Jake lifted her from the chair, she felt lighter, despite the anxiety still rippling underneath. Time slowed as he settled her onto the swing. The sensation of swinging was foreign but exhilarating, the swift rise and gentle fall sent butterflies buzzing in her stomach. With Jake standing close behind, she took a deep breath and let out an infectious laugh, mirroring what Mia had just done. It felt freeing. "See? You're flying." Jake cheered, and that simple affirmation pushed a wave of joy through her, but just as her laughter began to fill the air as well, she spotted Jenna again, standing at the edge of the park, arms crossed, watching with that familiar scorn. Emily's heart sank for a moment, fear creeping back in as she felt exposed, vulnerable. Would Jenna ever accept this? "Forget her," Jake said, his voice firm and unwavering, as if sensing her thoughts. "We're here. You deserve this moment." It was a powerful reminder, grounding her in the present. The push of the swing turned into momentum, and Emily felt exhilaration drown out the noise of judgment. But just as joy wrapped around her, a sickening feeling bubbled within. What if this was just an illusion, a delightful distraction from the messy reality Jenna always spoke about? As she swung higher, laughing with Mia, doubt intertwined with exhilaration, could she keep moving forward, or would the swing of fate bring her to a halt once again? And as the swing crested, Emily's heart raced at the exhilarating height with a thought flickering amid the joy: how much longer could she ignore the truths lurking beneath the surface? The swing soared higher, and for a brief moment, time stood still. Emily felt weightless, her laughter mingling with Mia's joyful squeals. It was as if the universe had conspired for this moment, casting aside doubt and judgment. But just as quickly as the joy surged, it faltered with the nagging thoughts that left a chill in the air. As the swing fell back, bringing her closer to the ground, a sense of dread crept in. She glanced toward Jenna, who hadn't moved an inch, her eyes like sharpened stones aimed right at Emily's heart. The weight of Jenna's critical gaze seemed to press down on her, tightening the muscles in her chest. "Why shouldn't I feel happy?" Emily blurted out, surprising even herself. The words hung in the air like a challenge. She wasn't aiming them at Jake or Mia but at Jenna, as though she could hear the echo of that voice in her head. "You deserve to be happy," Jake replied, stepping closer. His tone was steady, unwavering. "Happiness is not a crime. People like Jenna, well, they always find something to critique. But that isn't your problem." She absorbed his words, feeling their weight settle softly on her spirit. Mia jumped back and forth, her excitement untainted. "Can I push you now, Mommy?" she asked, eyes sparkling. Emily looked at her little girl, whose innocence reminded her of the possibilities that existed outside of judgment. "Yes, you can," she answered, a sense of empowerment rising within her. As Mia began to push, Emily felt the wind rush past her again. It felt cleansing, each gust washing away layers of worry. With each swing forward, the laughter rang louder, chasing Jenna's disapproving frown away like dark clouds chased by sunshine. Suddenly, a new thought blossomed within her, blooming brightly. Maybe Jenna's judgment didn't define her. Emily could rewrite the narrative. She had the pen in her hands. As if sensing her shift in energy, Jake's smile widened, and his gaze held something deeper than mere friendship. He stood closely, a pillar of support, encouraging her to embrace the moment. "You see, Emily? You're not just here. You're living. And that's what matters." And there it was, flickering inside a warm glow of hope. As she swung higher, she was no longer just Emily in a wheelchair. She was a mother, a woman finding her wings. The laughter bubbled up, spilling out of her, and she found herself leaning into the breeze, surrendering to the joy that enveloped her. But just as the exhilaration took hold, a faint echo pulled her back. Jenna's words replayed in her mind, "You can't do it all." "Can't I?" Emily whispered under her breath, clenching her fists in determination. With each push from Mia, she felt a mix of exhilaration and the stirrings of her ambitions. There had to be more to her life than the confines of others' opinions. Could her spirit truly expand beyond this park, beyond this moment? "Want to go higher?" Mia asked, her small hands on the swing, eyes wide with excitement. Emily's heart raced with possibility. "Let us do it!" she exclaimed. As they swung into the sky, a new question emerged, igniting a spark inside her. Could she grab hold of her dreams without fear? Hadn't she already begun? But even as the rush of joy surged again, Jenna's presence lingered, casting a shadow she couldn't ignore. Could she sustain this feeling of freedom when the real world loomed so close? The swing reached its peak, and with it rose another more frightening thought. What would happen when it was time to come back down? Emily soared, the swing creaking beneath her as it reached its highest point. She closed her eyes, feeling the sun warm her face. For just a fleeting second, she was untethered by fear, judgments, and past regrets. In this moment, there was only her, Mia, and the laughter that echoed like a melody through the park. But as the swing dipped, the world rushed back in. Jenna's shadow loomed larger in her mind. What would her friend think if she knew Emily was daring to reclaim joy? The thrill of the swing transformed into an anxious flutter in her stomach. What if this happiness was short-lived? She opened her eyes, forcing herself to look at Mia, who was beaming with delight. "Mommy, higher!" Mia shouted, her pure enthusiasm acting like an anchor in Emily's storm of uncertainty. Emily nodded, pushing away the descent of her worries for the sake of her daughter. "Okay, let us go higher," Emily replied, her voice more confident than she felt. With each push from Mia, she felt the resistance of doubt fade. Maybe Jenna's words didn't have the power she had given them. Suddenly, Jake's voice broke through her reverie. "You're incredible, Emily. Just look at how much fun you're having." His encouragement wrapped around her like a safety net, steadying her flailing thoughts. "Thank you, Jake," she managed, her heart swelling with gratitude. She was surrounded by love and support, illuminated by Mia's laughter like sunlight piercing through clouds. With each swing forward, she became a little lighter, a little braver. The ghosts of her past faded into the wind. She realized it wasn't merely about satisfying others, it was about breathing life into her own aspirations. The tickle of the wind was now an invitation, not a deterrent. For the first time in a long time, she was not just in a wheelchair, she was a participant in the world around her. "Mommy, let us race," Mia cried out, her infectious spirit daring Emily to be even bolder. The little girl hopped off the swing and dashed toward the nearby soccer field, her laughter trailing behind her like a bright ribbon in the breeze. "Race?" Emily echoed, startled yet intrigued. Could she keep pace? What if she failed? But the spark of ambition was alive within her. Did she dare? With a determined breath, she grabbed the wheels of her chair and pushed forward, feeling the exhilaration bubble within her as the grass cushioned beneath her tires. Jake jogged alongside, offering both pacing and encouragement. "You got this, Emily." His presence felt like a hand on her back, nudging her toward possibilities as vast as the sky above. As they raced through the park, the world came alive with sounds, the cheerful squawks of children playing, the rustling of leaves dancing in the wind. Emily's heart pounded not just from effort but joy, each rotation of her wheels propelling her forward with renewed conviction, but moments later, some distant laughter turned sharp, familiar. Emily glanced back to see Jenna leaning against a tree, arms crossed, a bemused smile gracing her lips. That familiar sting of judgment flickered in Emily's chest. Doubt crept in yet again. Could she maintain this freedom? Could she truly conquer the doubts that paralyzed her? As if reading her thoughts, Jake threw her a grin. "Don't let anything stop you." His words struck deep, a reminder that this journey was hers to own. With renewed determination, Emily turned her attention back to Mia and the race ahead. But before she could gain momentum, Jenna called out, "Are you really going to waste your energy on this?" The words hung in the air, heavy and sharp. Emily was rendered momentarily speechless, the set of Jenna's features imprinted in her memory, the swing, the laughter, the race. Suddenly they felt less like moments and more like a battleground. Could she keep going, or would Jenna's voice reign supreme once more? In that charged silence, one question loomed larger than the rest: was this moment of freedom worth fighting for? Emily inhaled deeply, her resolve hardening. As she faced the path ahead, she wasn't just racing against Jenna's judgments. She was racing toward a future where she would define her own limits, but as the challenges piled up, she knew one thing for certain: the true race had only just begun. Emily held her breath, muscles tense, as the moment hung like a fragile thread in the air. Jenna's voice echoed in her ears, a reminder of old fears clashing rudely with the new strength she was finding. But there was Mia's laughter, bright and unfettered, cutting through the gloom. In that instant, Emily realized what mattered most. It wasn't about Jenna. It was about Mia, her radiant light guiding Emily out of shadows. With a quick exhale, she tightened her grip on the wheels. "Let us race," she cried, the words bursting forth like a cannon shot. The thrill surged through her, igniting an unexpected fire. She pushed harder, feeling the exhilarating weight lift. Mia squealed in delight as Emily started gaining speed, her tiny legs churning as she ran ahead, golden hair bouncing in sync with her laughter. Jake kept pace beside her, matching her energy, his encouragement a steady pulse. "Look at you go," he shouted, and Emily couldn't help but smile wider. With every push of her wheels, doubt fled, replaced by the sweet taste of freedom. They were flying, three hearts racing in synchronicity. As they zoomed across the soccer field, something shifted in the air. The sunlight spilled over them like a warm embrace, and Emily felt like she was basking in its glow. The issues, the worries, they melted away like frost under the morning sun. That was until she heard it again, Jenna's voice slicing through the joy. "Seriously? This is how you spend your time?" The taunt wrapped around Emily, squeezing her heart in a familiar, unwelcome grip. Just a few words, and it was like someone flipped a switch, dimming the light that had surged inside her. But this time, she fought back, pushing forward even as Jenna's words hung like storm clouds above. What's wrong with having fun? Emily shot back, surprising even herself. The assertiveness surprised Jake, who raised an eyebrow in admiration. Jenna chuckled, but it lacked confidence. You think this makes you brave? Emily felt a swell of resilience rising within her. I might be in a wheelchair, but I refuse to be limited by it. Each push forward felt like a declaration, an anthem of tenacity. She channeled everything, the years of struggle, the pain of judgment, into the wheels beneath her. Mia turned and beamed, invigorated by her mother's defiance. Go, Mommy. Go. With that, Emily let the spark ignite, racing past Jenna, who stood momentarily frozen in disbelief. It was more than sheer speed, it was an act of reclaiming joy, a victory of heart over fear. Yet, as they rounded the field, Emily caught the tails of her breath, glancing at the brick wall of silence Jenna had constructed around herself. What had changed? Did it matter? Jake nudged Emily, pulling her focus back to the race, laughter breaking free once more. Don't let negativity hold you down. You're flying. The lightness of his words propelled her forward, dizziness from exhilaration mixing with warmth from the sun. But then, something unexpected caught Emily's eye. Mia was falling behind. Mommy! Mia called out, her tiny voice tinged with worry. The sight tugged at Emily's heart. In that instant, the race shifted once more. Racing was fun, liberating, but being there for Mia, her daughter's wide eyes brimming with reassurance, was more important than any momentary thrill. Emily slowed, gently reeling herself back to where her little girl stood, still panting but glowing with pride. You okay, sweetie? Mia nodded, a mischievous grin creeping onto her face. Let us do it together. Determination wrapped around Emily like a comforting blanket. Together it is. As they prepared to race side by side, Emily felt a swell of fresh hope. The day was theirs. Maybe it was time to redefine what victory looked like, not just the thrill of speed but the joy of connection. Yet, just as they prepared to leave the starting line, the weight of Jenna's judgments lingered in the air. Would she ever truly be free from them? With a deep breath, Emily turned to Mia and Jake, ready to embrace this next adventure. But was she brave enough to take that leap into a new kind of happiness? In that moment, another chapter was waiting to unfold, something she could sense on the horizon, a choice between the familiar sting of limitations or the thrilling unknown ahead. With a few quick adjustments, Emily rested her hand on Mia's shoulder, connecting them just before they launched into their next adventure. The anticipation of racing together filled the space around them. All doubts and fears faded, replaced by eager excitement. Ready? Emily asked, her voice laced with determination. Ready. Mia giggled, bouncing on her toes, the essence of youth bubbling in her expression. Jake stood beside them, a supportive presence that fueled their courage. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. With that, they surged forward in unison. Emily felt the breeze rush against her face, felt the sweet release of liberation as Mia sprinted alongside her, laughter ringing in the air. They soared, wheels gliding, feet dancing, hearts beating as one. But just as the joy reached its peak, Emily noticed a figure moving along the edge of the field, a young boy, watching intently. He was alone, his gaze fixed on the three of them, captivated but hesitant. Hey, Mia! Look over there. Emily pointed with one hand, gesturing towards the boy. His baseball cap was slightly askew, his shirt rumpled, but his wide eyes were filled with curiosity. Mommy, can we see him? Of course. Emily started to steer her wheelchair toward him. As they approached, the boy stiffened, as though unsure of how to respond. Hi. Mia called out, her voice full of warmth and friendliness. I'm Mia. Want to race with us? The boy's expression softened. Really? He asked, almost surprised. Yeah. Mia smiled brightly. It's so much fun. Emily pushed closer, feeling a surge of warmth in her heart. This connection was everything she hoped it could be. She glanced at the boy, his nervousness shifting to interest. "What's your name?" "Ethan," he replied, slowly inching closer. "All right, Ethan, are you ready to join us?" Jake chimed in, his welcoming tone acting like a bridge to draw the boy nearer. Okay," Ethan replied, taking a hesitant step forward. The three of them were now 3 beats from the laughter of Mia and the warmth of Emily's smile. "Let us have a race, Ethan," Mia exclaimed, bouncing excitedly. Standing behind Emily, Jake grinned as he prepared for another round. "Ready? 1, 2, 3. With a gentle push, Emily sped off, and Mia sprinted beside her, while Ethan followed awkwardly at first. But soon, the boy found his rhythm, the joy of being included igniting something within him as they raced together, laughter growing louder with each passing moment. Emily felt her heart swell with pride. This wasn't just a race, it was a moment of connection, a bridge between worlds. As they made their way around the soccer field, she glimpsed the others watching, some with surprise, others smiling. But then, just as they reached the halfway point, she heard Jenna's voice again, carried by the wind like an unwelcome ghost. "Why are you involving him in your little game? He doesn't belong." Emily's heart sank for a moment, but then she looked to Mia, whose eyes sparkled with joy. Ethan was laughing, too, fear melting away in the face of friendship. "Don't listen to her, Ethan," Mia shouted back, rallying the spirit of the day. "You belong with us." Those 4 simple words, deep and true, cut through the negativity like a knife. In that moment, Emily realized the power of her daughter's unwavering spirit. It was contagious and empowering. As they crossed the finishing line together, Emily embraced the joy of the moment, pushing Jenna's voice deeper into the shadows. Turning to face Mia and Ethan, she saw their faces glow with delight, the world becoming an expansive canvas where connections could bloom. But just as happiness washed over her, another thought struck. Would this day inspire Ethan to keep reaching out, to brave the judgment and embrace joy? With a warm smile, she looked at him. "Ethan, you're part of our team now. Always." But with lingering uncertainty, she wondered, could true acceptance break down the walls Jenna had built? As the sun began to dip low in the sky, their laughter filled the air, promising a new beginning. Yet, the journey toward true belonging was just beginning, and she felt the pull of that uncertain future beckoning her to explore what lay beyond. Would they all be brave enough to take that leap together, into the thrilling unknown? Emily sat in her wheelchair, the sun dipping low, casting golden light over the playground where laughter still danced in the air. She felt an unexpected wave of gratitude wash over her, as if the universe aligned to bless this moment. Mia, her daughter, chattered excitedly with Ethan, their newly formed friendship blossoming like the cherry blossoms around them. Jake stood close, hands resting on the back of the chair. His warmth radiated against the cooling evening, grounding her in a way she had never quite felt before. "You did something amazing today," he said, a proud smile lighting up his face. "Not just for Mia and Ethan, but for yourself too." "A family," she whispered, letting the word sink in. "Yes. A family," he replied, his voice infused with joy. "Love knows no limits, right?" As they watched the kids race around, Emily realized every fear, every moment of doubt that had ever gripped her heart was fading into a distant memory. She turned her gaze towards Jake, who was busy adjusting Mia's little crown of flowers fluffed in her hair. She saw how easily he slipped into the father role, how genuine his care was. "Can I ask you something?" Jake turned, his expression serious yet tender. "Of course. What does moving forward look like for you?" His question felt monumental, and Emily hesitated, her heart racing. It was everything they had been dancing around, a leap into a future fraught with challenges but bathed in promise. "I want to be part of a community that embraces everyone, just like today. No more hiding from who I am or what I love." The weight of her words sat heavy, but she felt light. Behind them, Ethan's excited voice shouted, "Let us build a fort." Together? Her daughter piped in, eyes alight with possibility. Yes. Together. Ethan echoed, which brought a smile to Emily's face. We should help them, Jake said. This is how love works. It expands. Exactly. Emily's heart swelled. And I want to help families, lift others as we rise. With resolve to act, she felt her spirit ignite. Just then, she noticed Jenna lingering nearby, her eyes narrowed, but Emily refused to be swayed. She turned, determined and unyielding. Hey, Jenna. The word slipped from her lips like a spell cast on the shadows. We're creating a community initiative. You should join us. Jenna stiffened, surprise etching her face. You think I'd want to be involved in your little charity project? Emily leaned forward, her voice gaining strength. Why not? I know it's hard for you to see, but love thrives in vulnerability. You could use that perspective. A flicker of something crossed Jenna's face. Was it curiosity? Doubt? Emily couldn't tell. Maybe, Jenna said, but something shifted in her stance, something that felt less antagonistic. Mia and Ethan had already started assembling sticks into a makeshift fort. Their laughter rang out, threading through the air like music, binding the past and present in a warm embrace. Emily watched the innocence of their joy, and suddenly, the idea of Jenna joining unfolded like a beautiful possibility, a chance for new beginnings. There's room for everyone, Emily called out, her heart racing with excitement. You could find your own place with us. Jake smiled, a gentle squeeze on her shoulder. You're inviting change, Emily. You're creating a bridge. As if they shared a collective understanding, Mia turned to Ethan, speaking up with determination, everyone belongs here. In that moment, with the sounds of joy swirling around them, Emily felt free. She had laid bare her soul, and despite the circumstances, fear seemed small. For the first time in a long time, she saw her future clearly, not defined by limitations but rich with connections and initiatives to uplift others. As the sun dipped lower, casting a warm hue over them, Emily wondered what would bloom next. With Jake at her side and Mia's laughter bubbling around them, she felt hope swell in her heart. Whatever challenges lay ahead, she was no longer alone. She took a deep breath. Let us build something beautiful together. With action and love blending into the evening light. Emily felt a sense of belonging fill her, a realization that she would chase this dream to its end, urging others to find theirs along the way. This was her moment. Hand in hand, heart to heart, they would rise together, never looking back. Now, if you want to follow more amazing journeys just like this one, subscribe immediately to the channel so you never miss out on our exclusive stories. Your support means the world. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Trust me, it makes a difference. Comment below with your thoughts and feelings about this transformation, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to experience this journey of hope. You need to show your support. Every action matters. Don't wait not even one more second.